Word Generation Module 1. This week's issue, Teen Smoking, Who is Responsible? Students can feel free to put any notes and questions in the box to the left. You may also use text tools such as highlighting or changing fonts so that you can color code your annotations as well. Let's take a look at the article. Teen Smoking, Who is Responsible? The effects of cigarette smoking cause nearly 1 in 5 deaths in the U.S. each year. Smoking is linked with cancer, heart disease, and lung disease. It is now widely acknowledged to be addictive. Once people start, they have trouble stopping. It is often easy to tell whether someone smokes or not. Smokers often exhibit symptoms such as coughing, low energy, respiratory difficulties, and poor circulation. These problems often build over time. Doctors believe it is inevitable that smoking will eventually lead to an accumulation of health problems. So why do people smoke? Some say smoking keeps them calm. Others think it makes them look cool. Teen smoking rates are lower than they once were. Still, 9.2% of high school students and 2.5% of middle school students smoke. Once a young person starts smoking cigarettes, there is a good chance that they will become lifelong smokers and customers of tobacco companies. That's why companies use appealing advertisements and other techniques to manipulate kids into buying cigarettes. For instance, one brand developed flavored cigarettes and promoted them with fun tropical images. Another brand advertised with hip-hop themes. Critics argue that these actions contradict statements by tobacco companies that they are trying to prevent kids from smoking. They think tobacco companies should follow stricter guidelines about marketing to teens. Tobacco companies say they support laws that block kids' access to cigarettes. Should companies be held responsible for attracting kids to cigarettes? Is it the job of the parents, teachers, and lawmakers to prevent teen smoking, or should kids be responsible for their own choices? Let's look at the vocabulary that was highlighted within this article. Accumulation, a noun, meaning buildup. Sample sentence. Doctors are certain that smoking will eventually lead to an accumulation of health problems. Question to ask yourself. How do you manage your time when you have an accumulation of homework? Contradict, verb, to argue against, to deny. Sample sentence. Critics argue that these actions contradict statements by tobacco companies that they are trying to prevent kids from smoking. Question to ask yourself. Why might information from the internet contradict something that you read in a textbook? Exhibit, verb, to show, to display. Sample sentence. Smokers often exhibit symptoms such as coughing, low energy, respiratory difficulties, and poor circulation. Question to ask yourself. How can a person exhibit interest and curiosity when listening to someone speak? Exhibit as a noun, an object or collection of objects put on display. Sample sentence. Susan and her mother frequently visited the African mask exhibit at the City Museum. Question to ask yourself. Would you rather see an exhibit of paintings or sculptures? Explain. Inevitable is an adjective, meaning unavoidable. Sample sentence. It is inevitable that you will disagree with your friends sometimes, but it's important to respect their opinions. Question to ask yourself. What changes do you think will be inevitable as you get older? And manipulate. Verb, to influence, control, or persuade with skill and often dishonesty. Sample sentence. Companies use appealing advertisements and other techniques to manipulate kids into buying cigarettes. Question to ask yourself. How do fast food restaurants manipulate young people into eating their food? If you have any questions, please be sure to ask your teacher.